Yo, what's the dealio, man? Listen, you already know I got a straight banger for you today, all right? So, before we get started, all I'm gonna ask is who caught Nvidia? Who caught Nvidia? If you caught Nvidia, drop it in the comments below, all right? Yesterday, I gave y'all a straight layup, right? A layup. And if you traded the levels, you would have made bank today. All right, I hit 180% on Nvidia today, right? But what I want to talk about in this video is how to trade stocks at all-time highs, right? A lot of stocks are at all-time highs. And so I want to break this down. I'm gonna go to the charts and kind of show you guys some examples, but I want you guys to understand that being at all-time highs is actually sometimes a good thing, right? I know a lot of times people be like, oh, the stock market is overextended or we're at all-time highs and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, once you understand like the momentum that these stocks be going with and that they be like moving with when they're at and or around all-time highs, you start to realize how much money you can make and what kind of opportunities you can make when you're dealing with all-time highs, okay? So when you're day trading or you're swing trading, you have, you know, retracements, you have breakouts, you have times where you're getting ahead of it, where you're accumulating, right? Your position, stuff like that. But what about all-time highs, okay? Let's say you wanna, you know, day trade a stock that's at all-time highs. So first things first, I want you guys to understand that you have to understand, okay, first things first, where is the all-time high at, right? Where's the all-time high at? And then I wouldn't get in a swing trade the second that it breaks the all-time high, right? And before that as well, I want to know how many times has this stock tested the all-time high? That's another part of it as well. Because if it hasn't even tested the all-time high yet, I'm not going to expect it to break through and go up higher. I'm actually going to be looking for a rejection and entering the puts, right? But if a stock has hit an all-time high, like tested it 2, 3, 4 times, then that's when I'm gonna be saying, okay, this stock could really break through this all-time high level and then go crazy, right? So these are small things that you want to understand. And also you got to ask yourself, when was the last time, like when was the pullback at, like if the stock is near all-time highs, when was the last pullback and how much was it? Because sometimes the stock may go up to an all-time high, go right above it, and then reject, right? And then come back down, and then it'll go back later on in the week or the next week or something like that. SoFi did that, right? A couple weeks ago. So it's important to know and understand, like, okay, how many times has it tested all-time high? When was the last pullback as well? If the stock has been running, and it's coming up to the all-time high and it hasn't really had a pullback, then I'm not going to be expecting that stock to just break through, right? But if it's been running, and then it pulls back, right? A good amount, let's say 5%, 8%, something like that, and then it starts to retrace, that's decent. But I still want to see it test the all-time high level multiple times before I get in the trade, right? Or I think that it's going to go into the upside. You see what I'm saying? Also, you want to ask yourself, is there a pattern that is pushing the stock up? Is it on an inverted head and shoulders? Is it on a bull flag, right? Is there a bullish pattern that this stock has that it's in addition to coming up to all-time highs? If it's not, then it most likely is probably going to reject. You see what I'm saying? If you just see like a pattern and if you just see the charts and you don't really see like a pattern, you might want to say, okay, this stock could potentially reject at this level, right? It could reject hard and it could start a downtrend and it could come down 8%, 10%, potentially even 20 to 30%, depending on what sector it's in. And then from there, you can say, okay, when it comes down here, I may get into some long dated swings. And then as it comes up, when it retests again, I'll be paying attention to that. But I always say, what kind of trade are you getting into? Is it a swing trade? Is it a day trade? Is it a scalp trade? This is one of my cardinal rules. Know what kind of trade you're getting into before you get into the trade, right? Because if you get into a scalp trade and then you end up making it a swing trade, your analysis is off. You ain't really gonna be efficient because you don't know like how long your expected move is gonna be and what the price target is and things like that, right? So that's something I would say that's very important. Okay, so you want to know where was the pullback at? How many times has a stock tested the all-time high level? Right? If it's on the first try, don't expect it to break out. And if it does, expect it to be short-lived, right? It's not going to be sustainable because it hasn't even tried and tested that level yet. You see what I'm saying? The sellers are going to be so strong that they're going to smack it down most likely, right? So now let's get into some examples real quick of some all-time high breakouts, right? Last week we had a crazy one. If y'all caught OKLO, hey, salute, right? I gave that to y'all, right? Yesterday I just gave y'all Nvidia, and what did it do today? It blasted off. And I don't even be talking about Nvidia like that for real, right? So understand that I don't even be mentioning Nvidia like that. So when I mention Nvidia, I see exactly what's about to happen. And less than 24 hours from when I talked about it, boom, it blasted off what? $8? Something like that intraday. This was not a gap up or anything like that, right? So this stuff is powerful. So let's go to the charts and let's really break this stuff down, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So, all right. All right, so check this out, right? So we got Nvidia right here. Let's go over Nvidia real quick. So right now, Nvidia looks like it's on a bull flag, right? It's on a bull flag. So if we go to the daily time frame, let's look at it. This is all-time highs right here, right? At 184.49, okay? That's all-time highs. Now before that, let's see where we at. Before that, we ain't been up there in a long time, well, ever, right? Before that, so here's where the all-time highs up here at 183, and then it was around like right here at 182, right? So all of this little whole area has been like all-time high, break it, reject, all-time high, break it, reject, right? But look at the area though, right? So now, now you could look at this area as a supply and a supply level, right? Because look, check it out. I'm gonna go here, right? So if you look at it, this is a supply level, right? Because we've attempted, right? We've knocked on the door here at 183. We knocked on the door here at 183. We knocked on the door here. We knocked on the door here. We knocked on that door here. We knocked on the door here. It came down a little bit, right? Came back up. We knocked on the door right there. Came back down, right? We knocked on the door. Well, we're knocking on the door right now, right? So today it tested those all-time highs. So it's been in this area for a multiple of times. And right, we got an order block right here as well. And it's looking like buyers are about to step in, and this could send the stock it could go crazy, right? We talking this week, we might see $190, $200 on Nvidia, right? Depending on what happens. We have a lot of flow on Nvidia as well, okay? So when you understand that part, you can say, okay, cool. Now this is almost at the top, right? So now let's go back on the 30-minute time frame. So now what do we have here, right? The stock came up. Stock came up right here. Made a strong move to the upside, right? And then look what happened. Now we consolidating a little bit, right? We consolidating a little bit right here and right here, right? We forming a pennant. And this is today, right? This is today. If you're watching this video today, pay attention to Nvidia tomorrow, right? So it was at 185, came down to 182, right? 182.30. And then now it's at like 182.80, 182.70, right? So now if it holds this level, right? It has not came below 50% of this move, right? That's what makes a bull flag a bull flag. It can't come below, it could consolidate, but it can't come below 50% of the move, right? And so if we do the math, we got 175 to 185, that's $10. So $5. So we go from 185 to 180. So Nvidia, it would be right here. Okay. 175 to 180. All right. So if Nvidia came below this level right here, then it would not be a bull flag, right? But because it's above this level right here, it made a move, and then now it's just consolidating right around this area. It looks like it's getting ready for takeoff, right? Getting ready for takeoff to go higher. And now, because we came up here at 184.51 and now we're at 182, even if we just retrace this move right here and retest it again, what does that mean? That's a $2 move. That $2 move could make you a lot of money, right? That's just a $2 move. But if you're in position right here and you get in a trade right here, and then you say, okay, if I ride it up to here, depending on what your strike price is and your expiration date, you could already be up 30, 50, 100% potentially. If it breaks through here at this 185 level, 184.60, if it breaks through here, now we have all-time highs that Nvidia could really run, right? Now, if I turn on my pivot points, right, pivot points right here, we got a pivot point right here, and we don't have a pivot point for a while, right? We could say right here, which is 187, right? But we have a lot of flow coming in on Nvidia. There's a lot of people putting orders in for like the 190 strike price, the 195 strike price for this week's expirations as well, right? So yeah, it's consolidating right here. It made a crazy move, and then it just started consolidating, right? So we might see a gap up tomorrow on Nvidia potentially, right? That's very possible, okay? Now let's go to another example from last week, OKLO. Right? So check it out, y'all. So if you go, let me turn off my pivot points. All right. So you go to the daily time frame. Look at the breakout. Okay, look at this insane breakout right here. These were all-time highs, right? Just so you know, I'm not, lying and talking. Look, right? The stock never came above there, right? So these were all-time highs right here. All right. So now, check this out. This right here is, you could consider it a bull flag. Some would say no, some would say yes. I said it was a bull flag in my mind. I knew it came down here, but I saw this range right here, right? And I'm talking about the bodies. The wicks are just levels that it was testing, but I'm talking about the wicks, right? I mean, the bodies of the candles. So it's been going from between here, 65, and about $84, $85. And we had all-time highs right here at 83, 83.05, right? So it came down here and then it blasted right here, and it was knocking on the door of all-time highs. So when you're trading all-time highs, you don't want to get in right here because it hasn't broken above yet, right? It ended up gapping up right here the next week, right? A couple dollars, and then it blasted off, right? So if a stock gaps above all-time highs, I want you to expect it to come down and test a little bit, fill the gap, and then break above, right? So you want it to reclaim the resistance level that was the all-time highs, right? And I'm gonna give you guys one more example after this. But so OKLO, it gapped up a little bit and it held the level, and then look what happened. It just went absolutely insane. This was on a Friday and this was on a Monday, right? So on Friday, there was no wicks at the top. Look at all these wicks previously, right? Sellers, 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 right? Sellers. On this candle, there was no sellers. There was only buyers, which is an indication that this could be a very, very, very bullish trend that we could be starting, right? Gaps up, and then it goes absolutely insane, right? The next week. This is on a weekly time frame right here. If we go to the daily time frame, look at the daily, right? This was on Friday, I believe. This was on Friday, yeah, Friday. So that was on the weekly. This was on Friday. No wicks, right? And then look, gaps up, and then it went up. And then it consolidated for a day, and then we had a 3-bar, and then it went silly the next couple of days, right? So this was the all-time high. It held that all-time high level after it got above it, and then it consolidated, right? And then boom, it went higher. So when a stock is consolidating above an all-time high and it's not dropping, then that's a good example, or that's a good indication that it's gonna keep going higher, right? Let's look at Tempest AI. I caught them out yesterday. Now let's check them out, right? So this is Tempest AI. So they were at all-time high. So this is not a breakout. Y'all see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. So all-time highs was right here at 91.42. It gapped up. It didn't even break above. It gapped up. So it hasn't even tested those levels yet. If we go to the 30-minute time frame, let's look at this. We go to the 30-minute time frame, right? You see it gapped up, tried to go higher, and then it came down. And look, all day it's been in a downtrend. It's not consolidating, right? It's just been in a downtrend. It came down to fill this gap right here. So until Tempest gets back above the all-time high level, I'm not entering in the calls, right? You could ride it up from here to here if you see an uptrend, but no, I'm not. I would get in right here once it comes above here, right? Because I would know that it's above the all-time high level, and then I could ride it up to retrace here. And if we break above here, then we could go a little bit higher. Right now, we may do that next week. Tempest is very volatile, and so sometimes you got to be real patient with the stock, right? And you want to make sure that you get it on a pullback when it's lower, because it moves big, and when it moves big, you could be on the wrong side of that trade. Okay, and let me give you guys one more example. We're gonna go to Oracle. Okay, when you look at Oracle on the daily time frame, let's check it out, right? So Oracle been hitting all-time highs for all year, basically, right? We had right here, they had earnings, they beat earnings, right? They beat earnings, and then what happened? They gapped up. Look, they never came down. They never sold off. They never came below, right? 50% of that move right there. They just consolidated for about 8 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So about 2 weeks, right? 2 trading weeks. They went up and down, went up and down, went up and down. And then look what happened. They absolutely went crazy. They went all the way from 211 all the way to 245, 260, right? Then they came down right here, but they didn't come down here. They did not fill this gap yet, right? And then look what happened. They had earnings again 3 months later, the next quarter, and then they went silly, right? All the way up here. And as you can see, it came down here, but it's been consolidating up here, and now it's coming back up because they had some news about TikTok, right? So when you're trading all-time highs or stocks that are at all-time highs, you want to make sure that it consolidates above that level and it doesn't come down and sell off and come back into that gap. If it comes back into that gap, you want to wait until the gap fill is complete. And then you want to say, okay, then we can start looking at long dated calls, right? Or call swings to the upside. But don't get in a swing trade when the stock breaks above all-time highs. You want to see if it consolidates above that level after the breakout first. All right. So listen, y'all, that is today's video, man. I hope that you got value from it. I know that this was a powerful video, and this is going to help a lot of people. All right. So like I always say, man, make sure you get up out of your head, go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right. And also remember, the more you study, the less you worry. All right. I'm going to catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Y'all stay smooth, man. Peace.